my practical portfolio in LDM2 course for teachers. Let me start with an introduction. It is more than a year now since the COVID-19 pandemic has affected much to our lives. In connection with this, a new portfolio for a new normal type of education was created to assess the learning of the children. And the learning modality that we use here at San Jose Elementary School is the printed modular distance learning, which is the only way that we can apply to our pupils here in our area. Printed modules were provided to our learners for their self-learning, and we also provide them with some additional resources to help them cope up with the modality. In this portfolio enclosed the various artifacts from each strand of LDM2. It contains individual learning monitoring plans, weekly learning plans, lesson plans, teachers' created blasts, home visitation, and parent communications, which were used in the new normal type of education. To start, let me present to you the table of contents of my portfolio. In the first column, you can see the different names of artifacts included in my portfolio. In the second column, we have the different strands under RPMS. For the required artifacts, the first artifact is the individual learning monitoring plans, or the ILEM. Under the strand of 3.1, learners' gender, needs, strength, interest, and experience. So in my first ILEM, with the help of this tool, I am guided accordingly and significantly of my learners' progress. I am driven to think and implement interventions that will cater the needs of my learners. This is my first ILEM, which I indicated different interventions that will address the learner's problem. So as you can see in my first ILEM, the name of the pupil there was covered for the protection or for the privacy or for the learner's benefit. So in the first item, you can see there is no significant progress because that is the first plan that I crafted interventions that will address the needs of my children. So for this pupil, I indicated 2 learning difficulties under English and math subjects. So I write different interventions that I can apply to address these needs. For my second item, it is conducted or planned on January 12, 2021. I highlighted the intervention that I implemented to cater the needs of these learners. So there are interventions also there that is not highlighted because of the availability. Like, for example, the provision of video lessons. So I cannot afford to conduct those interventions because the area of this learner is kind of far from the school. So it is burden for me to bring laptops and everything during home visitation. So I did not implement the intervention, but most of the intervention I planned in my first item was given to this learner. So as you can see, after implementing these interventions, there is a significant progress of the learner. Then the third item, it was conducted last March 15, 2021. It showed that I had sustained some intervention and some were not due to safety from COVID-19 virus, because during that time, COVID-19 cases is very arising. So I cannot afford to do the intervention, the other intervention like home visitation for the safety of both learners and teacher. The highlighted part was the intervention that I sustained, like for example, providing worksheets that suits to his capacity and regular monitoring through call, text, and chat. Kasi nga, hindi na nga possible yung home visitation. It is very evident that there is a significant progress of my learners' needs after the conduct of the intervention. So, the mastery level, I did not check the mastery level because when I assess the answer sheets of my learner, maybe in the comprehension part, he answered only, out of 5, he answered 3 or 4. But still, there is a significant difference before the intervention conducted. For the second artifact, it names lesson plan, either DLP, DLL, WHLP, WLL, lesson exemplars, and the like. So, under the strand of learners in difficult circumstances. So, due to pandemic, face-to-face been restricted in our school. Hence, we adopt the printed modular distance learning modality. This WHLP provide the learners as their guide. Kasi nga walang face-to-face instruction, so this WHLP will serve their guide on how to answer the different subjects during the modality, yung distance learning modality. So, the highlighted part was my way on how to assess my learners in these difficult times through home visitation every Wednesday. So, there are part of my lesson plan I put there that every Wednesday, I will going to conduct a home visitation in order to cater the learners' difficulties. Kasi nga, hindi natin maiwasan na talaga yung mga learners, mayroong mga queries. So, to address this difficulty, I conducted a home visitation every Wednesday. So, as a support, I put there my pictorials during home visitation that will prove that I really conducted or implemented what I put or right there in the WHLP. So I also made a group chat under the platform of Messenger in order to cater also the queries of my learners. Kasi nga may mga learners na they are provided with cell phone or na meron silang capacity na mag-access ng internet. So this group chat will help them to answer their queries, and I can also assess of the difficulties that we have encountered during the implementation of modular distance learning. So, next artifact under the RPM Strand 4.1, Planning and Management of Teaching and Learning Process. So, my artifact here is my WHLP quarter 1. So, as you can see, there is the highlighted part there that I put my objectives into PSA. So, for knowledge, skills, and attitude. This, when I drafted my WHLP, I have carefully planned and designed that it will conveniently and appropriately fit to my learners' need and interest. So when I subtask my MELCs into PSA, I make sure that this objective is suited to the level of my learners, and it will be. The MELCs was also stated in my plan, and again I subtask it in PSA objectives. So, another lesson plan under 4.2, learning outcomes aligned with learning competency. So, my artifact here is my DLP CO1 and DLP CO2 for quarter 3 and quarter 4. In making my lesson plan, I make sure that the learning outcomes are clear and specific. The activities and evaluation part of my lesson plan were aligned in the objectives, and I see to it that it is a learner-centered plan. So, in my objectives, there are some part of my lesson that I attend my objectives during group activities and evaluation part. So, I put only the part of my lesson plan that will answer what my objective is or are, the PSA. Then again, under 5.1, design, selection, organization, and utilization of assessment strategies. So my artifact here is a sample summative test with POS, and also with the performance task included in my summative test. I know how important assessment in teaching learning process. In new normal, designing and selecting appropriate assessment strategies have been quite a challenge for me. I make sure that the validity of my test covers the MELCs. Kasi nga, it is very important na ang ating mga assessment talaga ay nag-answer kung ano yung kailangan ng bata or what is included in MELCs. I also consider the level of my learners. So when I calculate my assessment, I also consider the level of my learners. Hindi talaga yung medyo yung sobrang dali at sobrang hirap. Yung suited lang talaga sa kanilang capacity. I consider the fact that it is attainable and measurable by using the given rubric when I give my performance task. So, they are guided with the rubrics included in the summative test. The above artifacts are samples of my TOS. So, we are very lucky to be mentored and given technical assistance of our school head in making our lesson plan on how to calculate it in remembering, understanding, evaluating on different parts of the TOS. So, that TOS should anchored with the sino yun? Si Bloom's taxonomy. Yes. Okay. So, another artifact named teacher-made or modified learning resources under the strand of 4.5 teaching and learning resources including ICT. So, the different artifacts included in my MOB is the pictorials during my first and second CO, the learning the learning resources from Google link that I made a module or a last in second quarter and third quarter, and also the group chat in my section. So I put it together to come up with a teaching learning resources including ICT. Kasi nga, when I conduct covers also ICT because it is accessible through Google link. So you can access this printed class to a Google link given by the district and the division. So in my last also, there are website that is included in the last for the learners who have capacity in accessing internet so that they can automatically click the website for their additional resources and for additional inputs that the LAS cannot cater. Kasi nga, limited lang yung space ng LAS, so I include links there for the learners to access. So the group chat there is, example, nag-inquire yung bata about photo collage. So I give examples on how to make a photo collage and also how to make a blog. I give an example through Messenger. Then, another artifact named Certificates of Participation in any Professional Development Activities under the strand of 7.3 Professional Links with Colleagues. So when we practice camaraderie and synergy in our organization, we also develop professionally. This school year, I have attended and participated different lab sessions and inset in our school, district, and division level. Through the expertise of different speakers and facilitators in LDM2 lab sessions and other inset, I learned new ways and strategies that will serve as my weapon in embracing the challenge of new normal education. Being one of the lab facilitator in LDM2 in our school, I was able to share my ideas and capacity to my colleagues, like for example, in ICT matters. Kasi nga, mayroon tayong kakayahan sa ICT. I try my best to help my colleagues on the things that I can share to them. So that is different tutorials during inset and lab sessions. Another artifact is a certificate of participation in any professional development activities under the strand of 7.5 professional development goals. So these are certificates I have received from national and international trainings and webinars that I attended this school year. I am thankful for the significant opportunity because education system. I am equipped with new strategies that I can use to cater the needs of my learners and to share my knowledge and skills to my colleagues. So So the last artifact under required artifacts is the reflective summary under the Strand of 7.4, professional reflection and learning to improve practice. So let me read to you my reflective summary. Procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done the day before yesterday, by Napoleon Hill. The LDM course has taught me the paramount importance of collecting, organizing, and working things ahead of time and developing my whole entire self professionally and spiritually. Taking things in order will make your work easily, efficiently, and effectively. I learned a lot from this course, like how to use ILM, how to combine and pack the milks, how to craft my WHLP and lesson plan that will address the learning circumstances, and different strategies and ways on how to assess learning in new normal setup. The LDM course is the wisest and most essential answer to adapt the new normal education. As an educator, I am happy that I was equipped with the knowledge, skills, attitude, and values through this course, which I use in teaching and learning process. Though there may be hard times, challenges, and confusion during the implementation, I believe that with the professional development goals, mentorship from coaches, and my strong faith to God, I can still achieve goodness and significant success. So that is my reflective summary in getting the LDM course 2. Let me proceed to the self-selected artifacts. Under self-selected artifacts, we have the MOVs on engaging learners for their progress and achievement. Under the Strand of 5.2, monitoring and evaluation of learner progress and achievement. So I have constantly checked the formative and summative tests of my learners, which are recorded accurately in the class record. So as you can see, there is a sample summative test in my artifact. And also, I put the output in team-based performance assessment and provide constructive feedbacks to motivate the learner. So in our first TIBAPA material, I put a sample there with a corresponding feedback. So this feedback that I included, yung my yellow part, when this learner read this feedback, I believe that it will motivate the learners to do better or to improve or to sustain his or her performance. So another self-selected artifact is MOVs on engaging learners for their progress and achievement under the Strand of 5.2. Okay, it is a continuation for the first artifact. So I also conducted home visitation to assess the reading skill of my learners. This is important to closely monitor the learner's progress in reading comprehension kasi nga wala tayong face-to-face. So it is our initiative to conduct a home visitation for the learners that have difficulty in reading skills, especially in comprehension. So, my MOVs there are pictorials during the conduct of home visitation. Another, for 5.3, feedback to improve learning. So, the part which I put a circle, that is a sample feedback to my learners when they do their performance task. So, this feedback was given to the learner, and every time I check the performance output of my learners, I always include and write constructive feedbacks. Constructive kasi hindi dapat tayo magawa ng feedback na maka-down sa kanila, but the feedback na maka-boost sa kanilang interest. To compensate their efforts and hard works para naman ganahan sila gumawa ng mas maganda at i-sustain yung performance nila. This is also my way to motivate them to improve their work and encourage them to do their best always. So for the 5.3, again, I include also a feedback form for the parents and pupils. So during the first implementation of modular distance learning, I give a feedback form to the parents on to ask for their suggestion on how to implement it more kanang conveniently on their part. Kasi nga, hindi naman lahat perfecto. Mayroon talagang kakulangan. So, gumawa tayo ng feedback form to gather their suggestion and feedbacks regarding to the implementation of modular distance learning. So, in the first suggestion there about portfolio, so before the first quarter, mayroon tayong portfolio na binibigay sa mga bata. So, they find it very difficult to accomplish kasi nga every subject may portfolio. So, what we do is we modified it into more easier and kanang mas easy sa mga bata sa paghatag of instruction to parents. Then, another is the chat to parents and monitoring tool when every time we conduct home visitation. So, in that part, that is a monitoring tool. Next is the FOBs on professional engagement with colleagues under the strand of 7.3 professional links with colleagues. So, I have attended various LAC sessions conducted in school and district. Our school head had created a Google link where we can submit our LDM outputs and raise our concerns about the LDM course. So, we are very lucky when we do our LDM course, it is school-based, so that we can easily ask for questions na dili ta mag-hesitate, natin mga pangutana because we are kanang kauban ra. And also, di ta magulo ka sir because sir is our school head na pwede ra ta makapangutana, di ta magduha-duha. So also sir, make a Google link na pwede natin dito isabi ng atong mga outputs. Another is the FOBs on engaging key stakeholders in teaching learning process. Under 6.2, engagement of parents and the wider school community in educative process. So the parents and other stakeholders are our main partners in the success of the printed modular learning delivery mode implementation. In teaching and learning, parents and guardians work collaboratively in accomplishing and answering modules and learning activity sheets. Also, the parents had participated in receiving and retrieving of modules following safety health protocol. So, as you can see, siguro hindi magiging successful ang ating learning modality kung walang help ng ating stakeholder. Sa mga parents, sa mga BLGU, at other stakeholder na involved sa ating community. So, mayroon mga tutorials na nag-conduct tayo ng orientation at saka mga different designated points ng ating mga modules. Then, the 6.2, again, is teachers San Jose launched the program called Humos para sa Kahalan. This program was participated by different stakeholders like SGS alumni, DLGU, forum leaders, and GPT officers to help those learners with difficulty in reading and numeracy skills. So, we have the tutorials, we have our education committee, Magawad sa Ramillas. In the second picture, we have the alumni in Binunguyan. And in the third picture, we have this Kaabag, the brother of our co-teacher, Ma'am Flora Galorcor. So, they spend time to give or to help the school in providing quality education to the learners. So, thank you, and that's all my LDM portfolio, background portfolio. Thank you, and keep safe, everyone.
In your LDM portfolio, so I really appreciate your effort after the first presentation during last time. So I observed that in your portfolio there are plenty of changes.
Yes,
So
sir.
congratulations for taking